In modern nutritional science, entire food groups are often categorized as unequivocally harmful. From saturated fats to carbohydrates, popular health narratives frequently demand absolute restriction. Yet, when researchers examine human dietary history and metabolic biology, the reality appears far more nuanced. Certain foods historically labeled as unhealthy, such as whole-fat dairy, dark chocolate, coffee, and eggs, contain complex matrix structures and bioactive compounds that may offer surprising physiological support. Rather than viewing foods in isolation, emerging nutritional paradigms suggest that metabolic impact is largely dictated by context, processing level, and individual baseline health. Understanding how these demonized items interact with vascular function, gut microbiota, and cellular repair allows us to make informed, evidence-based choices. Today, we examine the hidden nutritional properties of 10 traditionally avoided foods, exploring how targeted swaps and proper preparation may transform perceived dietary vices into valuable assets for health, immunity, and long-term vitality. To understand why certain demonized foods exhibit physiological utility, we must examine their biochemical architectures. Dark chocolate, often categorized with sugary confectionaries, contains dense concentrations of cocoa polyphenols, particularly flavin-thiols. Laboratory and metabolic studies indicate these compounds may stimulate endothelial nitric oxide synthase, supporting arterial vasodilation and vascular elasticity. Similarly, fermented full-fat cheeses present a unique food matrix, where matrix-bound calcium and vitamin K2, specifically menaquinone 7, may influence arterial mineralization pathways. Even eggs, long criticized for dietary cholesterol, contain phosphatidylcholine and lutein, compounds integral to neuronal membrane integrity and macular health. Furthermore, coffee delivers rich amounts of chlorogenic acids, which in vitro and animal models suggest may activate NRF2 signaling pathways involved in cellular antioxidant defense. The biochemical structure of a whole food often alters how nutrients are absorbed, proving that isolated constituent analysis rarely captures a food's complete physiological influence. Moving from biochemical theory to human clinical trials, observational cohorts and meta-analyses provide essential clarity. Meta-analyses of prospective observational studies indicate that moderate coffee consumption, 3 to 4 cups daily, is consistently associated with lower all-cause mortality and reduced cardiovascular risk. Randomized controlled trials evaluating cocoa flavanols demonstrate modest improvements in blood pressure and insulin sensitivity, though these outcomes depend heavily on polyphenol concentration rather than high-sugar commercial chocolate. Regarding dairy, large-scale observational meta-analyses demonstrate that full-fat fermented dairy intake is not associated with increased cardiovascular events, and in some cohorts shows an inverse relationship with type 2 diabetes risk. However, clinical evidence highlights that saturated fat from processed meats exerts distinct metabolic effects compared to intact dairy matrices. While observational studies demonstrate clear population-level correlations, human intervention trials emphasize that individual metabolic responses vary widely based on gut microbiome composition and genetic architecture. Critical scientific evaluation requires acknowledging dosage, processing, and context. The potential health associations observed with whole food counterparts deteriorate when foods are ultra-processed or combined with excess refined sugars and industrial sodium. For example, the polyphenol content of dark chocolate is severely depleted during alkalization, or Dutch processing, drastically reducing its bioactivity. Similarly, while minimally processed potatoes yield resistant starch when cooked and cooled, which may support gut microbiome diversity, French frying introduces lipid oxidation products and excess caloric density. Bioavailability also varies significantly. The heme iron and zinc found in red meat are far more bioavailable than plant sources, yet high consumption of processed meats remains strongly linked to colorectal cancer risk in prospective studies. Therefore, substitution strategies, such as swapping ultra-processed meats for grass-fed cuts, or choosing minimally processed whole grains and fermented foods, are crucial for minimizing potential risks while maximizing nutritional density. Ultimately, no single food functions as a standalone solution or absolute hazard. Nutritional science demonstrates that long-term health, immune resilience, and longevity are driven by overall dietary patterns, physical activity, sleep quality, and stress management. Integrating minimally processed versions of nutrient-dense foods, such as rich cocoa, fermented dairy, eggs, and coffee, within a diet rich in vegetables, legumes, and healthy fats may offer meaningful physiological support. By replacing ultra-processed items with thoughtful whole food swaps, you optimize nutrient intake without unnecessary dietary restriction. Long-term consistency and balance matter far more than strictly avoiding individual food groups. Disclaimer: this documentary is for educational and informational purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider regarding personal health conditions.